Ben Sebastian here, and welcome to episode 8 of the Sonic Symphonic Podcast. Now, you can see probably from the layout that this is a very special edition indeed, as I feature my first artist here on the podcast. Do any of you remember the scenes from episode 7? If you don't, here they are. What a piece of composition that is. It's got just every attribute that I love in music. Fucking hell. It was a really beautiful pairing, and you've truly brought something really original to the table. A stunning concept. As you can see, this man certainly stirred my soul some, and for that he gets special recognition in a Sonic Symphonic Podcast first for Artist Spotlight, Pete Rawcliffe. He's the bird song late at night, he's the crunching of the snow and the love song in your heart but no one will ever know, and much, much more than that. I'm happy to be bringing to the Sonic Symphonic Podcast crowd Solace and Urania Fantasia vocalist, soprano extraordinaire, and a man who can make grown men cry, Pete Rawcliffe.
That was absolutely brilliant. I love that. Every moment of that. I had to not laugh just to not cut you out.
There you go.
God, thank you so much.
It's a well-deserved introduction. And by making grown men cry, I obviously reference the last episode of the podcast. Interestingly enough, I recorded one version and then my laptop died and I lost it. And I thought, I'm not going to get this level of emotion again. But funnily enough, I gave it a while, and I went to re-record it again. And
that was the second take.
Yes, you got, and I'll be absolutely honest. You get me every time. I had to do a search, bring it up again to get the introduction right, because I wanted to get the lyrics, and it was like I could feel it just on the edge there. I'm just like, okay, I'm finding the lyrics and I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going down that rabbit hole again.
Oh no, I'll happily jump down that. Emotion and music, you know, they should go hand in hand. You know.
Yeah, that's very true.
There's a lot of that missing in popular, more mainstream culture, which is a shame. But it allows us the space to do our thing, and you are definitely doing your thing. And I couldn't not have such a reaction, and then. Just leave it there and move on to the next band. Now's the time to expand and express some gratitude, and and maybe sort of try and find out a little bit sort of more about what you're about and where your plans are.
Yeah, that's cool. I've got to say first off, like when me and William seen that, we were absolutely taken back. Like, it was so humbling, and it was so lovely to see a reaction like that. Even though lovely and crying don't always go well together in that particular instance, it was really, really nice. So yeah, just thank you for being raw enough to post it, because it really did drive us forward and spur us on, and thinking we've got to do some more of this, which is important.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the typical fare that a grown man would want to put on his YouTube channel. Here's me crying buckets.
I know,
but
there's kudos for that.
But I'm out here trying to promote authenticity in musicianship, in personality, because that's what we boil down to. We were born ourselves, so why do we spend our lives not living ourselves or going off the path or off the rails, even in some cases, and then we come back to doing what it is that we are actually being gifted the talent to do it.
Always comes back around, doesn't it? Always, you can't get away from your truth, I think. And sometimes, the more you suppress it, the worse and more erratic it gets. And, you've got to kind of find an outlet somewhere. Yep. And if you don't, it just, like you say, you go off the rails, you eat yourself up, you end up becoming this person that actually you don't particularly like very much. And, all sorts of things happen then. But yeah, we do all need the outlet. So it's nice that we've managed to find that, both of us.
yeah, indeed. It's similar philosophy. If you repress something, it typically manifests itself into, something a little bit more unpalatable. One other thing that I have to comment on, because you've done this interview thing with Will, you've appeared on his podcast, and as I was preparing to kind of have you on mine, which it was initially intended for a short 15-minute thing, but because obviously I play a lot of sort of music, but I suspect that it's going to be a longer episode, but I don't mind that. That's cool. The single Locked Away, I wanted to delve into the narrative of all that. And then I then did my research and listened to Will's podcast, and he's very cleverly done all of that.
Done all that already for you.
But on the other side of the covers, Wicked Game. I've got to say that's fucking really good. I was going to try not to swear, but fuck it.
Oh no, crack on! I'm all for swearing. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. It happens to be one of those guilty pleasure favourite songs of mine. I mean, it's hard for me to pick favourite songs because I've got so many in my head. But yeah, that one really stood out. I listened to your entire catalog.
Oh, thank you.
What is it? You've got the Better Life stuff. You've got your own material, and then
that was part of A Better Life, which was great. That was Wicked Game. That was a cover we did, I think, to promote the album that was coming out after it. And we've got a few more planned in, but I always feel the guy who is like the man for A Better Life. We do work closely together in lots of different things. He's absolutely fantastic. So we do kind of become a little bit more adventurous every time with what we do. And I think the last bit we did together was a soundscape. And then we've got some great pieces in the line. So something coming for that, definitely.
You strike me as someone that's now got very busy on this path, because as say in your previous interview that I've watched, you've sort of come out of being in a not so great place, and you've essentially spent, was it the last 6 years, investing in yourself, the kit, the contacts, the projects.
Massively.
So you strike me as someone that's going to keep very, very busy.
I hope so. I'd like to think so. I think I've spent so long not doing anything to help the growth of me, like as an artist. So I think I've got making up of lost time to catch up on. So that kind of is the driving force for me being continually busy, which is good. But I have, over the past couple of months, I've really streamlined what I do, because I was at that point where every option, every opportunity was kind of like a must do. Fear of missing out and all that stuff that you go through. So I was like taking it. And I really diluted myself to the point where I thought, right, I literally can't do anymore. And there are like maybe 20 songs that are out there that are never going to get released for different projects and different things that I've done, because I just couldn't maintain that level of work, as well as my job, as well as my business and everything like that. It's really, really hard. So I think although I'm going to be busy continually, I'm going to be certainly selecting the things that I'm busy with, because it's going to be much more focused and much more, on brand with what I kind of want to put out there. Not just random bits and bobs that never kind of materialize, because it's it's a waste of energy, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think when you come out and start a process, for example, I come out and started a podcast mainly because I just got out of prison, as I've explained before, and didn't have my music studio sort of fitted. Well, I sort of ported back to my home. My home was temporary at the time, but I did have my laptop, and I thought, well, I could do something. This is something that I've been thinking about, the philosophy of it all in any case. So I just got started, and you try all these different things, and what happens is, just by going out and doing and getting involved, slightly overstretching yourself, is your aim gets better, it gets more refined. So it's not really wasted time and energy because it serves as part of that process. And I think
certainly, yeah, I do know what you mean. I think for me, it was more I was relying upon other people within that journey to take that step to have the outcome happen. So, you know, when you've got your sights set on a goal and you expect that goal to be achieved, and other people are preventing that from happening, you kind of think, oh God, that's so frustrating. So I think what I've taken that autonomy back is probably what I mean by that. And like, you know, I have the control over what I release and what I do. And I think that makes it a little bit more satisfying because I'm a very like kind of goal orientated person. And I like to be able to say, right, this is what I kind of want for the end. Although I like the experience to be completely fluid and organic, like I do kind of want that end goal. And that was what was putting me off. But no, I totally appreciate what you're saying. You're absolutely right. It's all a learning curve, isn't it? And everything's, you know, totally part of that overarching journey that's us as life.
So you say about being very goal orientated. Obviously, this is now 6 years prior. You were very perhaps not goal orientated. So what were, just the people out there that you know are maybe, you know, in the cesspit somewhere, you know, mentally trying to like figure out how they get in touch with their talent and how they kind of forge a path to something. You know, what were the 3 key sort of ways of thinking, mechanisms?
Definitely. I think that's a really good point, actually. I think for me, the first was understanding the reason behind the way I was acting and the way I was behaving. And I have a business on the side with my friend called Sensory, and we deal with people that have gone through trauma, and we do some counselling and transpersonal therapy and things like that. And
that's amazing.
It's fantastic. It's really, really great. It's you know, it's up and coming. We do it alongside our day jobs, you know, and we absolutely love it. We help so many people, and the route to that was us understanding ourselves. You know, understanding what sort of things made us behave the way that we were. You know, what sort of things in our past allowed us to, you know, be that person in our present. And I think that was the first port for me, was to think, right, why am I acting like this? What sort of triggers have I had in the past that have made me react this way? And when you start understanding that, you start unraveling those behaviors. You can put them in a box, you can compartmentalize them, and you can say, right, well, I don't want to behave like that anymore, so I'm kind of letting that go, pushing that away, so on and so forth. And then you kind of get that clarity and that clear mind that allows you to really see what it is that you do want. And I think that's that understanding of self, setting the pathway for the future, and really being honest and fluid with the experience is what kind of got me out of the situation that I was in. I didn't want to be like that anymore. I didn't like that behavior that I was showcasing because it was preventing me from being the person that I wanted to be. But I understand why I behave like that, and I don't hate it. I recognize it. It's part of me. It's happened. I've just moved on. And I think being at peace with that is so important, because otherwise you beat yourself up every day with regrets and things that you wish you'd done. And that's just destroyed. It's self-destructive. It doesn't work. It's happened. At that time in my life, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to behave like. So I'm not going to regret it. I'm just going to chalk it up, leave it, and move on.
Sure. So it's, in essence, it's self-insight.
Yeah, 100%.
And of course, it must involve a lot of playing around with strategies and inner theories. So, so that's the sort of like, you know, the mindfulness side, which, you know, as a Buddhist, that's something, you know, I like to rely on that theory quite heavily. And try and catch myself when I'm not being as mindful. And mindfulness within mindfulness.
Those moments, don't you? And you're like, oh shit, I should just have a meditation now, or I should just be like, I should just take it easy. And you know, those things are really important. You know, meditation comes in so many different forms, and it's fantastic just to have that space to be able to allow your brain just to reset and become clear. And probably ask a lot of Buddhists, well, certainly a lot of lay Buddhists like myself, you know, what's the one gripe we've got with ourselves? Is the fact we're not meditating enough, you know. It sort of becomes a sort of a self-punishing arc at times. So that's from the sort of the mental structure side, but obviously you've, you know, amassed some kit, you've put some stuff out. I mean, what were the first steps from going, right, I'm in this rut and I've got this musicality and I'm going to do something with it? You know, what are the first steps that you did? So I had this goal. I wanted to release something before I was 30, and I thought to myself, I need to achieve this. And
that's good.
It was what I wanted to do. So
age benchmarking.
It's
entirely arbitrary, but you know, that's one of, it's a good setup. It's a good
Yeah,
setup.
exactly. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're 50, if you're 60, if you're 40, if you're 20. It's personal and it's for you, you know. And I think that I was, you know, I entered that 6-year period of where I was like, right, focus, and I've become part of this project that was kind of like a orchestral concept album, very progressive, and we got really far into it. We got about 6 or 7 songs of the album doing, and for one reason or another, you know, the guy I'm working with is fantastic. I you know, a lot of time for him, even still now. It just didn't work out. You know, we both went our separate ways. We both do different things. But I was touching at that point on like 29, and I thought, right, we've got a year. So you need to buy the kit, you need to get it sorted, and you need to go and release a song. So I'd kind of already connected with a guy called Adrian Benegas. He's from Paraguay, and he writ Locked Away for me, and we worked together because, you know, we would talk regularly about what it is that we want to achieve, and, you know, what it is we wanted to do, and we just ended up coming together, doing it, and I managed to get something out there at 29. So I felt like I had achieved that, and that for me was kind of the opener of the floodgates. It's like, right, you've done it now, you can do it. Get your confidence out there, get your confidence up. Now on to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. So it was really, I think it was kind of an internal pressure, if I'm honest. Like, it was internal pressure to get it done. So I thought, you're going to have to just move and just do it. And I just really focused on that goal, and I really wanted to achieve it so much that there was nothing that was kind of going to stop me. It had to be done. I wanted it done before the birthday, and I wanted it out there. And yeah, whilst it's not for everybody, it certainly worked for me.
Certainly. Excellent.
Yeah.
I lost the thread of where I was going to go with.
Sorry, that's me.
But that's fine. I'm chronically bad for it because I'm sort of thinking these multitudes. Of course, once you've put something out there on the shelf, so to speak, do you think it creates a benchmark for, you know, those new behaviours that you've kind of learned and the stability that you've got sort of mentally and the framework of your conduct? Once you've put something on the shelf there, it makes you more consciously aware of if you slip up and the impact. And it's almost like it's a tool. It's not only evidence of a recovery and evidence of goals and an instrument of your success, but it's I don't know why Siri just beeped at me then. So,
you said something funny to it.
Success is a key word, is it? Okay, fair enough.
Maybe it is, yeah.
But but it also, I've lost the thread again. Thanks, Siri. But it's you get what I'm saying.
No, it's a massive reminder, and especially that song for me. Yeah, for me, it was like that. You know, I didn't go into this thinking. You know, I didn't know what Adrian was going to come back with. I had no idea of a theme. I just knew that I needed a song, and I can't write music. I'm not an instrumentalist, so for me, that was a non-entity. I couldn't do it. I'd have to get someone else to do it. So he sent me this song back, and I clicked with it instantly. And I was like, I don't want to change anything. I love it, but I didn't have a theme, you know? So I thought to myself, just listen to it, write down what comes out. And it must have been about 15 minutes it took me to write the lyrics to that. So that just goes to show how long that's been manifesting inside and needed to come out. And I think that the fact that that is, you know, the first song that I've released, and that is the reminder, like you said, and those lyrics are in that, it's kind of the overarching end of a chapter. That's it, done, finished, out the way, done and dusted. It was a real big moment. It's
the butterfly coming out of its like chrysalis cocoon stage.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt when I sort of heard it and was sort of trying to pick away at the lyrics. And you mentioned, you know, in your previous interview, that you started from a place. You know, it's almost a bit like a little bit sort of villagey, claustrophobic. You've moved away. There's the struggle with your personal identity and sexuality, and then you reference you reference your voice in sort of feminine ways, perhaps in a harsh way towards yourself. And then you've gone through the path of, like, you know, kind of trying to unravel all of that. Yeah. In the midst of that, as probably anyone do, there's a bit of off the railingness, and you commented that you'd perhaps upset, you know, a family member, and then you had to repair all of that. But, you know, what I wanted to say in reference to all of that, and potentially and the historic sort of negative language of surrounding femininity, what you've done, that process you've gone, is perhaps the most masculine thing any man could do, regardless of their sexuality, voice, singing style. You know, everything.
You're absolutely right. I think it took a lot of guts to kind of, allow that side of me to come through and to be that. And it's not the journey's not over. Like, it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. Because there's still work to do. Like, I still struggle with performing live, because I would be okay. I was having this conversation with someone the other day, actually. I'd be okay if everyone knew who they were going to watch. But if it's like an ensemble of people and I'm just like one of those people and they're not necessarily here to me or they've never seen me before, I couldn't do that. That would freak me out. I'd be like,
I think I get that. I'm not a live type guy. It's I've got to cross that bridge, really. If in realistic terms, and I think everybody does. But perhaps with souls such as ourselves, the pain or the perception of failure hurts us, stings a little bit more. But I seriously believe that you'll be surprised.
Yeah, maybe so. I think
I'm not making any direct comparisons, but it's a bit like that Susan Boyle moment in Britain's Got Talent. I'm not saying that you've got anything like that image or whatever.
I get it.
But you get it. It's going to be or like when you see in films, they go up on the mic and it's a few nervous notes and then all of a sudden, boom. And you've done it in the recording studios. You've done it at home. You can do it on stage. It's just the environment is different. But once you're busying away, or in your case singing, you get lost in it. And
that's very true. The first 30 seconds, and after that, it's all brilliant. Well, we can hope. We can hope.
You'll absolutely smash it. And to be fair, I used to have some guitarists in the band and stuff, and they were sort of like, all shy, and they'd start going along, and it's like, you need to learn to recover from your mistakes,
That's true.
No, it wasn't a guitarist. It's a vocalist. She had this great Amy Winehouse type, vocal style, but was so like this, unless she was at home, had a couple of tipples or whatever, and eventually she got back into just doing stage stuff. And I said, look, you watch guitarists. That's where the guitarist reference comes from. You watch guitarists; they make a mistake all the time. Bending the note too high, or mispick and things like that. But what do they do? You watch them. If you were to watch them in slow mo, they just slide around it, and they find something. And that's practice. And you can do it in vocals, and we've seen so many people live, and they get out of breath, because they're dancing about and whatever, and people are throwing their knickers at them and stuff,
I'm surprised how they do it sometimes. I think, God, I'm out of breath walking up the stairs doing a live show while singing at the same time. It's hard work,
definitely. So maybe that's a goal.
I think that might be the next one. So,
that's the next goal, because
because
we want to see Pete Rawcliffe succeed, like everywhere.
Thank you.
You've got a quality vocal, and I think the way that you sing, and without even knowing the backstory in the lyrics that you've picked and that you've sung on both your single and in the Urania Fantasia context, they spoke to me, and I think that's probably the huge reason why it set off the waterworks, because it's authentic, because it's real, and there's this real musical soul in you, and it's yours, and it's not to be hidden, and it's to be embraced and perpetuated for as long as God allows you to live, which I hope is a very, very, very long time. So
thank you. That's really kind of you, and I'm glad that's come through, because that's all I wanted, was to make someone feel something, and that's good.
I hear you certainly have done, and good feedback as well from the sort of viewing populace that I do have. It's growing, and I can't thank you enough for your support as well, because I found you through through Facebook, through Will, but I'd kind of seen seen the Crown Solace video, and I
I
tried to
remember we had that
bookmark it.
conversation, didn't we? Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was going back now to the start of the year. So yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's about May I started the podcast, so it was 12th.
Oh,
of
was
May.
it? Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's not been going long. It's literally a handful of months, isn't it? But it feels like.
But yeah, racking up some views onto YouTube and stuff. So that's doing really well. Yeah.
It's getting there. I'm finding like things like forums and stuff, and people seem to be going a little bit going backwards to like the old way of sharing stuff. It's become less about instant photos and everything that we're doing every minute, and people are actually wanting to have proper conversations in single purpose threads.
Totally agree. Yeah. It's more about engaging with people. The whole consumerism has changed with music and with anything really, and people just want to kind of get to know the personality behind it even more. Like you can have someone that's got an incredible vocal, two people that've got an incredible vocal or an incredible skill, but the one that's got the personality is going to shine through because that's what they want. They want to engage, and I think that's so important. These forums, like you said, are brilliant.
People by people, I think that's an expression that I use a lot.
I like that. Nice. These posters are cool behind you. Where did you get them done? They're really cool.
Okay, so these are obviously my 3 instrumental albums, of course. And there's a site called Optimal Print.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Right. So the idea here is to kind of not only have a sort of a decent backdrop to podcasting and music videos, it's kind of studio stuff, but also the sort of visual memory of like, hey, this is kind of what you're capable of. So I wake up to this scene every day, so I can't forget it. And then accompanying it, I've got, if I gradually
Dream
move the
Theatre
camera.
one, is it maybe?
Yeah, so these are all the albums covers, either my favourite album by the artist or Napalm Death, Sonata Arctica. There's some more sort of around. I've got a TV and stuff, but the idea is to fill this whole room with them.
Definitely.
But they're all like favorite album covers or the album that got me into the group. If it wouldn't have been for Cradle of Filth's Cruelty in the Beast album, symphonic metal would just not exist for me. That and Night Wishes Once, So I wouldn't be composing the way I am.
I know what you mean. I still have surreal moments now, actually, because I don't know, Sarah, who was in Cradle of Filth.
Yes.
We speak quite regularly, and sometimes I think I was listening to her like when I was like 50, and we get on really well. Like, we've got good banter. We've got lots of things going on, like that we always talk about, and I just, now I don't even think about it very often when a message pops up from her. But sometimes I'll sit there and think, I was like, she was inspiration for me back in the years. It's just so weird how time goes and stuff. So yeah, very strange.
Right. Okay. I didn't know Zoom was a paid for thing because I've been told that our free meeting.
Oh yeah, you only get 40 minutes.
Oh right. Okay. Well,
we've got 9 minutes 50 left.
Yes.
we can wrap it up in 9 minutes 50.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, I'll have to edit that bit out because I don't want to appear like a complete skin toe. But no, it's been a pleasure having you on here. It's been a pleasure to hear your music. I know what's coming, but we'll keep the secret under wraps for now. The other song you mentioned on your Instagram yesterday, that one. I knew it straight away. I was like,
I'll send you the link when we finish. You can have a listen to it if you like. See if you like it. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be ideal. Perfect. But yes. Thank you for coming on the podcast. And,
thank you for having me. It's actually been really nice to just have a real good chat. So
that's it. It's and thank you for the emotional kick that you gave me in the Arcade Muse.
I'll try and do it again next time, but I don't know if I'll.
Yeah, well, I'll be well guarded.
We talk about goals. This is another goal.
Yeah, make me cry again.
Make Ben cry.
Hashtag make Ben cry. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, we'll make it a trend.
Excellent. Cool. Right. Excellent. That's a wrap there. I mean, that's
brilliant,
cool, man. Yeah.
No worries. Take care, mate. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, 90s. You have a good evening. All right.
See you soon. Andrew, bye.
Bye. That was me and Pete there. Pete, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I did lie to you. I said I was just going to squeeze you in between a few bands, but instead, actually, you got your own artist spotlight edition of the Sonic Symphonic Podcast. What can we take from Pete's success and Pete's journey? Well, one, mindfulness. Let's have a look at the ways that we operate. Let's have a look at the way that we view the world around us, and let's see what we can change within ourselves, and invest in our talents. And secondly, goals. Not only just set goals, but set up sort of benchmarks that help defend those goals, defend that spirit and passion that we have in music. I think there's a lot that could be learnt from Pete, and I thank him for sharing his knowledge with us. Well, that's it for this special edition of the Sonic Symphonic Podcast. I've been Ben Sebastian. Remember, you can submit your material to me by using the email address sonicsymphonic@outlook.com, or check me out on any of the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Looking forward to hearing from you, and looking forward to the next episode, which will be a regular episode on the 1st of October. It's going to be so heavy, and hopefully there'll be some more wonderful success stories and great conversations coming soon. That's it. Over and out.